Everyone, it's been a few months since our last video talking about Ascendancy, so I'm just going to put all the screenshots we've had so far in this just so everyone can see them. The first update I'm going to talk about is about degrading systems. For those of you who've played Empire at War or Imperial Civil War, there's a hardpoint system in that game where to destroy a ship you need to destroy all the hardpoints on the ship, so as you go as they take damage, each ship sort of loses some of its power. This is something Sins doesn't really have, so if you have 10% of your life left on a ship, it'll still do everything it could when it started. This is something we're going to be changing. At different health levels, each ship will have different capability or lowered capabilities. Right now we have, at 50% you have 50% of the firepower, and then under 10% you lose the ability to jump to hyperspace. We're going to make other changes with this. Right now it's just going through balancing to make sure the basic system works. Also, we had in that update a bit about the Galaxy Gun. The only faction in Ascendancy that's going to have a planetary cannon like that is the Remnant, which will have the Galaxy Gun. This can destroy an entire planet. These will be extremely limited and extremely rare. They will also fire extremely slowly. So you'll only be able to use it a few times in a game, even if the game goes on a while or is in a larger galaxy. The reasoning behind this is we want to make sure people actually think about where they use it. So you can blow up Coruscant and Kuat, but you might want to not use it on Dantooine. So the next update we had was about technology. We also feel that in base Sins there was a lot of sort of pointless techs, where every faction had something that had basically 3 techs that could upgrade 5% weapon damage, then 10 to 15% weapon damage, as well as upgrading health and armor and stuff the same way. So at the end of the day, everyone has more of everything, but it all ends up in a wash. And it made research in Sins kind of boring and uninteresting. So what we're trying to do with research is pick techs that have different and competing effects and techs that aren't just net positives. So you have to think about which techs you want in each game. It won't always be 100% something you need to research. So an example is a tech for the Imperial Remnant, which has, it lowers the upkeep cost of your fleet, but it also makes your hull regen slower. So you can decide you either prefer the hull regen or the income cost being lower. You can't have both necessarily, but in different situations you may feel like having a different one. It also is going to highlight what we feel are the important aspects of each faction. So for the Remnant, that's being able to build a lot of ships or expendability with the ships you have. Whereas for the New Republic, for example, they'd be less willing to just throw away the lives of their soldiers. There'll be a lot more focus on fighters, whole democracy thing they have going on. So if you have any suggestions for techs you want to see in any of the 3 factions, there's a thread for that on the forums. In the members only section, there's also a list of all the Imperial techs, which is the faction we're working on first. At this point, we're also looking for both alpha and beta testers. For the alpha testers, we're going to do internal versions every few weeks and months, where we start with the Imperial Remnant and then we just test that alone. Then it'll stop for a while, then we'll add, or we'll give them the New Republic or Empire of the Hand, whichever we decide to do second, before the final release. So they'll have the mod several months early. They'll need to test the basic systems though. It's a very important thing, so we're only picking people who we know are dedicated to making the mod better. They're not just trying to get the mod to play for enjoyment. Because I can pretty much guarantee for the first few weeks the mod will probably not be fun. It'll be an unbalanced mess. Beta testers will get the beta, obviously. So that's much closer to being done. It's just to find bugs, make sure everything works, do some final balancing. In the alpha tester group, we're looking for about 5 people. We have 3 so far. However, for beta testers, we have a much more open field. We won't be picking them for a while. We are still going to pick out of people who are more active, more willing to give suggestions and constructive criticism, rather than just someone who's going to show up, say they want it, and then disappear. I think that covers it all for now. But thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll have something more interesting to watch soon, hint hint.